Hello, I'm John Joe, and this is Lime War. Today we've got a 4-player free-for-all, and as we can see, we're going to start up here. There we go. So we've got SnowMi here, Cryptospurinium here, and Rekonv2, SuperCumpters over here. So we've got a line of people going across this way. So we can see that red and blue are trapped in the middle of these two players. But I get the feeling SuperCumpters, who has crossed the water, who's down here, he's crossed the water with his starting territories. He's got a navy and air units. So he's planning to cross over to here, I would have thought. And there's a lot of trade routes in this section, as you can see these white lines. So those trade routes will help his economy. So I don't think he's worried too much about everything else. But he does probably want to keep this section here. Red has started here. He's got some units going across there. He's got some structures set up already. He's also going for some air units. But in the mountains, there'll be stealth. So SuperCumpters can't really see his units in that section. The Crypto over here is just about getting to the mountains now. So they're going to have engagements along this section and in this section. But I think if I turn on commands, there we go. Yeah, we got some artillery going across the mountains in a funnel shape, which is actually quite an awesome way to place them. And they're both going to be firing from two different angles there. But blue is going to get there first. So might have a hard time getting this section as the artillery come in. They won't fire as they get into this location. They'll only fire once the fortifications are actually built. However, the infantry aren't connected to this line, so they will start attacking the infantry. But he's also going for some eco as well, and we're probably going to see a lot of air units in this game. Down in this section, Crypto is building an energy well, but doesn't have a docks or air units, so he's going for tanks, as you can see here. He's already got some tanks I did not notice. Going to one. So yeah, he's already got a production set up, and once we get into some engagements, I'll put it back down to normal speed. In fact, that's going to happen now. So we're going back to normal speed now as they start engaging with each other. Over in this section, it looks like blue pulled back against snow over here, and they're just going to face off there. In this section, it looks like neither player wants to engage, I don't think. Or they haven't noticed each other yet. And there's some tanks and artillery fire. It looks like red has found blue. And these infantry are surrounding this tank, doing a lot of damage. Now, infantry aren't that great against tanks, but when they've got this amount of numbers, they can outnumber the tanks pretty easily. Even the artillery here and the tanks. They're probably gonna... They might struggle against this lot, to be fair. But I think they'll do pretty well, just purely because they outnumber. But some are just deciding to desert their friends there and run off to the forest. But we have one artillery going down already. One infantry there has gone down. Got some more units coming in from the bottom here, as we do with red coming in from there as well. But you can see we've got 4 infantry here attacking this tank, and as soon as one goes down, one will replace it. So this is why the infantry are quite powerful, but they're not going to be very good at many other things. So these tanks, if they got around to the structures, they'd destroy them pretty quick. And they can move a lot faster than infantry, so that's what their use is. Being able to get round and strike and hit really hard. Over here, it looks like red's noticed SuperCumpters, and SuperCumpters knows what's coming, and he's setting up a line here. And there's one man there just realizing what's going on. Everyone's left him behind. He's like, oh yeah, I've got to go over there. Luckily, he does survive for now, as red starts to engage with SuperCumpters there. And red is sneaking around the top over here. He's got quite a few units over there, and one man just hiding in the forest there. Blue is deciding to set up a defense in the forest. Now, being in the forest, the infantry being in defense would get a great boost. Having the boost from the forest and the boost from defense. Which is another reason why these infantry are doing so well against these structures, against these units as well, is because they're in the forest. As you can see by the tips coming up now, infantry and commanders firepower bonus is 20%, and their armor bonus is 20%. But there we go. This defense is set up, but unfortunately, because one's shooting from the side, that defense doesn't count for this guy. So they're pretty much just outnumbering them there and taking them out. I can hear some other firing. It looks like the Sam has come up this way and is going forward for the infantry that's also not going to set up the defense, so he's just going to push through. So there's a few mistakes there, I think. Red is moving around for the side here where there is absolutely no defense set up. And I have noticed that Teal's got their units. The defense line here is only artillery. So as the artillery come around in place, they'll probably actually take over this section because the artillery, there's only 2 here. Whereas the rest are infantry. So as the artillery keep moving in, it'll be only these 2 that are the threat. Don't want to forget about SuperCumpters. So Rek has built or produced interceptors. Now these interceptors are pretty much negating these strikers that are on the ground. So as soon as these try and fly, the interceptors will take them out pretty quickly. And having the helicopters in the air means that SuperCumpters is at a big disadvantage right now. If these helicopters just went ahead and started destroying the structures, SuperCumpters would be under a lot of pressure from that. Red has gone for a defense of his own, placing it pretty much in line with this. So as the infantry come in, trying to set up their defense, they're going to get taken out before they even attack. So Blue really needs to take off that defensive line right now and try to place it in another way. Red's also got some units coming in straight for this Eco here. Didn't spot that in time. I knew he was coming over the mountains, but he's actually targeting something now. He's got a mission in mind. I know exactly what they want to do. I don't know if they're going to do it, because it looks like Blue is noticing this right now. He's sending tanks up this way, and now these units don't have the benefit of the forest. And it looks like he's going to try and surround the tanks so that his infantry can take him out. That's probably because of what he saw down here, but he might be forgetting the bonus here. As they come in one at a time, well, not one at a time, maybe 2 at a time, these tanks are getting a lot of damage in before they even get the chance to surround. Over here, it looks like Teal set up a command here, and as they come over the mountains, they can't see the enemy until they get too close and with enough numbers. So as they got into place, it revealed these units, and then they started moving towards them because they're on an orange command. And SuperCumpters, to counter the air units, has gone for missile boats, which is actually a really good option, especially as this being a thin piece of land. The air units don't really have anywhere they can hide. So these missile boats are really going to help protect this area, as you can see. And it looks like another helicopter is going to go down if it keeps on staying in range of these. And the strikers are now launching as the missile boats get into position to help defend them. And they're going straight for this energy well here, which is going to be a bit devastating for Rek, because he really needs that energy to keep his navy in the air. As you can see, the energy gets taken out, and these interceptors show black smoke straight away and have to return home. But Rek has built another energy well. I want to check his eco. Can he build another? He can't. He's struggling with his eco, and he has now no energy. And SuperCumpters is focusing a lot on his energy, not so much on his eco yet, but definitely getting his energy going. Over here, Blue has a plan against this defense force here. So he's bringing his units across up through this section so that they avoid this target here. And they start moving around. But at the same time, Red has set this defensive line up so his units are moving up here. Which is actually probably going to save him, not with the artillery, because they're still going to just move and not fire. But as they get into trying to curve round, if it was just a few moments later, more units would be over here and they'd start surrounding Red. So that was perfect timing. Whether accidental or not, it is stopping that force coming through. But there are still a few units coming across, but they're just going to get caught up by the reinforcements coming in over here. As I said, these artillery coming in, they're starting to place down and they're taking out the infantry. They've already took out one of these artillery. And we've got interceptors coming in. So he's only got one airfield, and he's set up interceptors mostly for defense, but he really wants to take out this section here. So Snow has sent down his interceptors, and he's got quite a large storage of energy. So I think he just wants to take advantage of what he has. He only needs to get rid of the artillery there, which he's now done. And the interceptors, although not effective, it'll only take a couple of runs to take everything out there, I think. From Rek's point of view, this has got to be kind of scary. We can see all the units coming in through the forest, but now a swarm of tanks is moving around to try and get in the back of this defense. At the same time, for Rek, SuperCumpters is coming in through this area here, and his air units are going to get taken out by these missile boats, especially these interceptors. And when the interceptors go down, the strikers are going to have pretty much free range over this entire area, apart from these SAM units. There we go, so SuperCumpters is pulling back. And over here, Crypto is not pulling back. Rek is on the defensive quite heavily against quite a few tanks and artillery that are moving down here. They're not taking the territory, so they are just moving through it to capture this land. And the helicopters are moving into this direction over here. Pretty much a good idea, because these missile boats are doing everything they can to take them out. So having the helicopters somewhere where there is no anti-air is definitely a better option, and especially with the tanks. But as we can see, this defensive line has been taken out. Snow is probably going to be taking advantage of that. He's got a few units moving in through this area. Over here, the tanks are pushing through the back of the defense here. And although they're moving a bit slower in the forest, they are going to hit the artillery first, and they're going to be able to take them out as soon as possible. We haven't lost a tank yet, I don't think. Not since we've just come back, but a few are ready to go down. But another artillery goes down. There's only two left, and Rek decides to wave the white flags. Rek is now out. We are a free-for-all with 3 players, which opens up this entire territory, and SuperCumpters is going to take advantage of that right now. He's got his units moving in through this section. Having a lot of infantry will mean he can cover this land quite effectively. Whereas Blue over here has quite a few tanks, and tanks are really good at trying to take over the territory as well, so he will be able to progress through there too. Sorry for that bleeping, I can't take it out. That's just because Rek has probably left the lobby after losing this match, and it is the disconnection symbol or sound. But it does fade, and now it's gone. Let's have a look at SuperCumpters, because I can imagine now that he doesn't have anything to face against, he's going to be spending his eco to eco up. Yeah, he's got an industry ready now, and he'd probably be sorting this out very soon, getting a city and some trade routes set up, which is going to give him a lot of leeway to build up here. Over in this section now, I can imagine Snow and Crypto is going to have quite a large engagement. But if they don't find different directions, like Snow could go through the top and Blue could go against Crumpets down here, then they're going to end up fighting it out for too long and give SuperCumpters too much time. And even though this is a little late, we've got some ships coming out in this lake. And that's actually not a bad idea, as the air units are flying over, and you've got this tiny choke point here. And being able to take out the eco, you can actually fire quite a lot from this. It's actually quite a valuable little spot to have some navy in. Don't overinvest. But I think Snow realizes the danger in having a navy here. So he is sending out some air units, which are probably interceptors again. Yep. So interceptors to come out and take down this structure. And strangely, there's a missile boat already in there, so they're going to actually take some resistance in that part. Green is also coming through this section of the map. So Blue is going to have to defend in another location as well, but not too heavily, as they are starting to thin out through this area. And I've just noticed there's a sub-pen up in the north. So Snow is conquering the land over here, which will impede SuperCumpters at least a little bit. There you go. The interceptors do fly away. They are able to destroy this structure with the help of the infantry on the ground. And I'd probably just move this guy away, but no, he didn't quite get there in time. Because you could have that territory with the energy well in it. And definitely take down the eco. If the enemy didn't respond. But it looks like Snow is going for the factory in the forest here. Which is quite a nice little sneak there. He's just got a few units straying in and they're going to target the structure as the units are moving away against this here. We've got some units actually behind this area here and they're just targeting the industry just there. So that's going to really hinder Crypto if you can't stop these little sneak attacks that are coming in with infantry. Luckily, SuperCumpters isn't engaging right now because Crypto has the artillery in this section. He does have the advantage when it comes to defending in this tight corner. They have the tanks on the front line with infantry, the artillery just behind him, and the infantry here will really struggle to get through. They'll be too overcrowded to outnumber the enemy. There we go. They do take out that factory as well. Just these 3 infantry snuck off and took out 1 factory, and the industry has gone down as well. And this defense here is not sufficient enough to hold back these guys if they decide to push through. Which, judging by Snow's setup right now, where he's got control over this mountain, he might actually decide to push through there. Let's have a look at what's going on here with the submarines. They're going to take over some territory down here. They're going to catch this transport boat. And we got some aircraft carriers. So there's 3 strikers on each aircraft carrier by the looks of it. So far we've only got 1, 2, and yep, strikers are moving towards that as well. We still don't have a trade route set up yet, but we're about to. We got one here which is going to link to this one, I believe. I'm not sure about this section though, because it could go either way. Over here, I hear a self-destruct button. There's the airstrip there. So with the interceptors in the air, I think he decided it just wasn't worth keeping the airstrip. Or maybe he wanted to keep the build an airfield instead and built the airstrip on accident. And now we actually have artillery filling up all these gaps that's actually being pushed through slowly. So we got some artillery coming through, taking out the front line of infantry. So Blue is trying to push up through these mountains now, which she's going to counter resistance, but with the way they're set up to try and build traps, so if you catch them as they're funneling through. But coming through this section here, which is actually quite cool, because he's set it up so it's going through the mountains, but without touching the mountains. So this isn't going to slow him down until he gets to about this point. And SuperCumpters is flooding through this area. The best place to have held this would probably have been here, with the mountains just there. But unfortunately, being back here, he just doesn't have enough units to hold them off in 3 lines. Probably should have kept 2 at least. But in this section where it's so thin, you could have the infantry, the artillery at the back. And that would have held him back quite a lot more. But he is setting up some structures here to help try and build up this front line here. Now his infantry is straying in through the north here, and they're taking up the strays of Blue, which unfortunately is spreading out Blue's defense across the entirety of this area. So I do think I want to have a quick look at above. So we've got this sort of map look here. It looks like SuperCumpters controls relatively the most area, but most of it's sea. So I'd say Snow has probably the largest eco if SuperCumpters doesn't have too much in the way of cities yet. So he's got 1,000 per minute, whereas Snow has 1,000 per minute. So they're pretty equal right now. But Crypto is currently on 900, which actually isn't too much less. It looks like Snow's changed into bombers now. As these interceptors are going down, it looks like they're being replaced with the bombers. And he's built an airstrip there, which is probably housing the others. So we have Blue trying to go over this mountain here. I would like to know if he can see that. Yes, he can. So I wanted to know if they were stealthed in the mountains. Over on this section, he's got another navy set up here, so they're going to be trying to help take away anything from this area. But unfortunately, the defense that he placed just wasn't able to hold up. And now SuperCumpters is targeting that navy yard. But SuperCumpters is also invading in the north here, so he is attacking both Snow and Crypto at this point, and he's holding them both back. Which, considering we know that he has the same eco as Snow, he's going to have one hard job if they focus on him, because they could both just turn around right now and target him down. There we go. So it looks like instead of trying to push through, he's setting up defensive lines. But unfortunately, they are within range of a couple of artillery. So they're taking out his units too fast before they can really do anything about it back. So we've got the bombers coming in as well. We still don't see too much anti-air. Got a sneaky unit coming through. And as I said earlier, they're going to push through in the north in this section here. And I think this... He's holding back the SAM as well, just in case any air units come over. But as they come through this section, that's going to be a bit too much for Blue to handle. He's lost this section as well to SuperCumpters, and he's being pressured from every single angle, even from the air. But on the other hand, SuperCumpters is pushing Snow, so maybe Snow is going to have to redirect a lot of his attention into another location. So he's not wasting his units, he's pulling them back into a straight line and letting his air units do the work for now. And they're coming in from this direction, so he's leaving these guys with what they have, and they're going to carry on going through. So a few units have been left behind here. Just another quick little line. And they're just going to grab territory while both these players fight on the other side of the area. But he's definitely getting the attention of No, but he's just got to hold this area for a little bit. And with the amount of infantry he has, he could just rush forward and take these guys out. But I think he's just trying to hold up as long as he can as the strikers do their work in this area. But we just saw a submarine underwater then. There we go, they're chasing down this transport boat. The strikers can see them, and I don't know if they'll target them. The boat does go down. There we go, we got the strikers targeting the subs. And they probably will get taken out by these strikers. There's quite a few of them in the air right now. Over here, the infantry are tried to be pulled back. I think Crumpets needs to have them on a blue command if he really wants to focus on having them here. But when they start deploying and firing, you probably want to rush them because more units will come in as they slow down. But on this section, Blue is forced to set up one long defensive line, but doesn't have the units to fill it. And unfortunately, it's getting taken out from both sides. It looks like SuperCumpters isn't too worried about attacking, rather than expanding. And it looks like that's where he's focused his defense, which... Unfortunately for him, he's getting pressured by a lot of air units in this section, and these artillery are going to move in and take out this defense with relative ease. Many of the infantry so far are surviving, but they are slowly diminishing in numbers. But I feel like this is just designed to slow down the enemy so he can keep his territory here. I want to see if he's got the eco to put stuff down. He does. He's got loads of eco. 1,600 at the minute. Well, capital, sorry. There we go. The strikers are slowly building up in numbers as the aircraft carriers come in. And the stronger they get, the easier this area will be to hold. So over in this section, we've got the artillery moving in. They're going to be really slow moving. But artillery are pretty much the best way to steamroll over your enemy. So they will slowly take over this area if Crypto doesn't do anything about it. And SuperCumpters is trying to get these guys to come up through the north area, and I think they're going to start trying to push against Snow, to be fair. So after seeing the submarines, we've got a few destroyers in the water, and they're going to help stop against these guys as they try and progress through against SuperCumpters. But this energy well is dangerously exposed. And I'm surprised with the capital he's got left, we haven't got more trade routes set up. There is this section here as well, and if we set it up here, yeah, so I was wrong. This area doesn't connect to this one. So this one goes this way, all the way to that one probably. So he pretty much needs to get them all set up to get them working. There we go, so teal is taken on blue, and the helicopters are in response to this attack, and unfortunately I don't think they're going to be enough, because we do have some SAM units in the back here, but on the other hand, Snow isn't moving them. Snow really needs to get these guys right in this section here and stop anything taken off from this airfield. Because the strikers and an interceptors coming in. But you got to remember, these are interceptors as well, so he doesn't want to get them too close to this area because they will divert, as you're about to see, I think. Yep, one's going in towards that guy. Luckily, it's going to get taken out by this one, but unfortunately, SAM are going to get it anyway. But unless the SAM are moved, they're not going to take out these helicopters, and they will absolutely destroy this army. On the other hand, there is Light Blue's army coming in through the mountains as well, so they are attacking from multiple angles, and although there is a very good defense here, SuperCumpters has only got infantry there, so he's not going to be able to do too much anyway. He probably could have lightened up the defense here and used them against the attacks coming in here. SuperCumpters doesn't have many units left in this area, but he has gone heavily into eco now, setting up towns and cities everywhere by the looks of it. And although we can see that he spent a lot of money right now, he's still got 1,000 left in capital, so he is still holding back. I do get the feeling that SuperCumpters' economy is going to explode very soon. So we'll have a quick look now. It is 1,400 before these things are constructed. We've got Snow, who's on 1,100, so he is still about equal, but SuperCumpters is already getting the advantage and still hasn't got to his potential yet. And he's setting up a defensive line of his own here, but without artillery, that's going to be a bit hard to maintain. These helicopters, although doing a very good job, as the SAM are moving in, they're going to start running out of ammo, or numbers at least. But they will start prioritizing SAM if they are moving towards them. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon though. SAM are going to take them out before they can actually achieve anything against them. So unfortunately, I think that is Crypto going to be out of this game soon. He does have a lot of units here, but if he moves them, SuperCumpters is going to move in against him. But at this point, I think it's definitely worth it. So we're just going through with Snow steamrolling Crypto's base. And Crypto's being pushed back. Well, to be fair, he does have another thing on his mind there. He's got a rocket placed. So we could still see Crypto come back in this with that rocket placed very well. If he's got the time to build it and do that in time, he could take out their army. Over here, this has been under attack by something. I'm not quite sure what. Must have missed something there. I don't think it was air units because I can't get in, so it must have been another wave of submarines. We do have a rocket from SuperCumpters as well over here, and we got some boats moving. Oh, so he's filling up this island first so he can set them across really fast. So he can take over that land a lot faster by the looks of it. Backed up by the strikers. But Snow does know what he's doing a bit. He's got the SAM units moving in now, so he does have preparations. He knows what's coming and he is planning for it. Down in this section though, he has his artillery moving in here. And it looks like Crypto is dedicated on having a triangle of land at least. He likes this little spot here and he's going to keep to the forest. And Snow is moving in here and he is going to start taking these units out before they actually start filling up the spots. But he is moving a lot of his units inwards. He's got a full set of SAM here, almost. And they'll be able to protect that area pretty well. That is the advantage of having a small amount of land. You don't need a lot to defend it. And I think Crypto has a lot to defend it, so I think he should be alright staying there for a little bit. But it might have been wise now to have built this nuke in the forest. Because at this point it's just the fact that the enemy doesn't know it's there is why it's still there. On the other hand, as I said earlier, we've got the artillery moving in against this lot and their infantry, so they're not actually going to do a lot of damage. Like, not a lot to defend back with. I want to have a quick look in this mode. So let's have a quick look. We've got all of these units here ready to fight these enemies, setting up the sandbags, but the artillery are just moving in against them and they can't really do anything. I mean, there you go, they just stood there taking the damage. They're okay with it. And we got an airstrip in the mountains there, I just spotted as I was moving out. As you can see in this section, we have Snow's units slowly going across towards that rocket. And over here we have a large defense sort of positioning set up there, as we have a rocket being built over there right now. I do love this camera view. It does help with my thumbnails, I will be honest. Unfortunately for Crypto though, he just doesn't have the economy to build a rocket. In fact, he's actually in the negatives. So he's got the silo ready now, he just can't build it. I think SuperCumpters actually built his last. Or second. And the rocket is already like 1/3 done. But over here he hasn't managed to start it yet. He needs to turn off all production just for like, I don't know, 10 seconds. Just to be able to get that rocket going, I think. It might be worth it, but I think that the enemy is about to spot it anytime soon. So it could be a problem for him then anyway. And we have the strikers coming in now to take on these artillery. That is their defense. The infantry are pretty much just here to slow down anyone that passes, as the strikers are the ones that are going to take them out. Some are moving north though, and I know there's a few SAM units up north. Luckily for Crumpets, they are a bit too far away. So these strikers are good. Oh, I say, maybe we do lose one against Crypto, so the enemy is now saving Snow. But these strikers aren't going to take long to take these guys out, and they're going to return home fairly soon. But I reckon this rocket's going to hit in this section here, and then he's going to rush his infantry over. And for the rest of the map, I'm going to turn off commands so we can only see what we see. We'll still see the white commands though as units start planning their routes. So we can see that Snow is moving some units down this way with the white lines. So we've got some planned efforts there to try and push SuperCumpters at a different location. And these submarines are moving in once again, but this is a section of destroyers. So if they come through here, these destroyers are probably going to win this engagement if they all work together. They're being pulled back. but one does stay behind, and it looks like we've got some more coming in this way, and the trade routes are set up now. We can see there's a merchant ship there. So from Crumpet's view, his economy is skyrocketed. He's got 1,800 per minute, whereas Snow is still on 1,200. He hasn't had much chance to expand. He doesn't have too much economy. There we go. So actually, those submarines took out those destroyers. I mean, some retreated, but he's taking them out one at a time, which is doing a very good job at trying to destroy them. I think he's spotted the nuke with these subs, so the bombers are coming in. There's 2 nukes. I didn't know that. But unfortunately, these bombers can't actually target structures. So they have to stay nearby and try and bomb them at from randomness, I guess. Some organization to it, I suppose. There's the first rocket. The second rocket's going to come in a bit later. It takes out pretty much every unit in this little section here. Still a few units up here. But now with the submarines blocking the path here, that is going to make it a bit harder to get the units into this section. And it's going to be hard to get any... I was going to say ships behind to try and stop these units, but if any of these were anti-air... One of them is. There we go. They will be able to start firing against them. But that was a good call. SuperCumpters has managed to get some units into the back area of this water, of this ocean area. Over in this section though, it looks like we've got some artillery poking into the corner of this triangle, which is definitely the best place to attack it from. Having so much defense all around, going for one of the corners doesn't really give you enough to fight back against. You do see that Snow is trying to increase their eco. They've got this town here, so he's building on it. But he has recently acquired all this land, so he might be able to take over some of that. The submarines are moving towards the destroyers, but if the destroyers just moved in against them, I think they'd actually win the fight. I mean, there's 5 destroyers and they are very effective against submarines. So they're going to make short work of these submarines right now. It might lose one destroyer. There it goes. And there's the submarines are starting to go down now. And we do have the units that are in the back of the base here. We've got the destroyers here that are targeting these structures, the sub-pens. And that'll probably be the end of the ocean tactics for SnowMi. But the air units are still going to be able to be a threat to these aircraft carriers. We have another rocket over here ready now. Over in this section though, I do think that Crypto's rocket didn't fire, which is unfortunate. I bet you Crypto's going to actually be struggling right now. Let's have a look at what he can actually see. So from his perspective, this is what you can see. You can't see everything around there. You can see that Snow's building some eco structures, but that's about it. So he's just stuck here. He's having a fun time, and he's just losing some eco there. But he does have an energy bar here that he can keep forever. The strikers are coming in for this section, and although they're not good at anti-air, with the amount that he has there, it was able to take out this bomber. There is another bomber here, but I think that one might get away. Not until it passes this. This missile ship will get it. Another one. There we go. It does fire. But it survives. I didn't think it would then. And we have a single artillery right between, pretty much in no man's land, right between 2 defensive sandbag placements. But they are pushing from the other side, so even if these artillery push through this way, there's nothing to shoot back because there's just no artillery in the defense. Although the majority of the battling is going to be between Snow and SuperCumpters, I do feel like it's important to mention how long Crypto defended this location for. Which unfortunately for Snow, being the one who's attacking him, wasted a lot of Snow's time and even units when they got killed in this section like that. So we can see these defensive lines being built up slowly and slowly over time. They are just getting built, and I think this is him building up his army as well as just holding off any enemies that come through. But if he wanted to, he could just delete them all and send them in one direction. So I think the only battling going on right now is through Crypto, and he's slowly being pushed inward, and Snow is eventually going to take him out if Crypto can't do anything about this. He does still have energy, so it might have been wise to place a airfield right here or something and just produce loads of helicopters. And it looks like SuperCumpters has decided to take a different route. Instead of going for this section here, which is quite visible, he's going to take this land up here against Snow, which is going to be a problem. He's going to take out some energy, and then he's going to be straight onto the airfields. And if he wanted to, he could place these aircraft carriers in this section, and he'd have free range over the enemy's base, pretty much. So I'm pretty sure SuperCumpters is going to have a fun time in front of him, and Snow is going to have a pretty big struggle trying to stop him from doing this. But he is scouting, he is doing everything he needs to do, so he probably will spot it coming. And he's got his bombers coming in. They're going to take out a lot of these destroyers, and if he took out these destroyers, it might be wise to set up another sub-pen, as SuperCumpters knows that he destroyed them, so he is constantly checking the coast though to try and spot any more that come out. And unfortunately for Snow, we've got a large group of infantry going to rush in through this section of the map. He will find out soon if he hasn't already, as they come into contact with that energy well. And I don't think these rockets can actually reach this section, so I think he's going to be alright for a little while. But these rockets are costing SuperCumpters quite a lot of money. They are literally costing him a bomb. But he does have quite a good control over this. Just having those rockets there to be able to use at any time could help in any situation. And we do have checking out SuperCumpters space. We've got another rocket coming in here. What is his eco now? So SuperCumpters has loads of capital and 2,500 per minute. I don't think I've ever seen anyone with that eco in this type of game, or any type of game actually. I don't think anyone's had that eco. And that's just because it's a free-for-all, so the battle's been lasting quite a long time, and he's just been building up his merchant ships. And he does have quite a lot of trade routes. I mean, there's 3 in this section, another one here. So yeah, that's a lot. And Snow, he does have a bit more eco now, so he's got 1,392 per minute. And he does have the ability to get more. He is working on it slowly. But to be fair, to get this one a city, he does need to take out Crypto. So Crypto is literally preventing Snow from getting one city, but he's not ready yet anyway, so I suppose it doesn't matter too much. And these bombers have done their work on the navy that came through in that area. There isn't too much left, but we do have some more missile ships coming in. But as you can see, these infantry took out the energy well there. They're starting to place some structures down. We've got 2 airfields. He's got tons of eco. He can just do what he wants in there. He probably could fill up this area. It doesn't look like Crypto has long left in this, but he is defending like a champ. He is a one stubborn person in this game, by the looks of things. We might even find that due to Crumpets and Snow realizing each other being the biggest threat, that they're going to target each other and one of them's going to go up first, meaning that Crypto would have came second. That is if he survives. I mean, he is getting eaten up pretty badly in this section, but I don't think Crumpets has any intention of taking him out. We have a rocket being launched just here. Not sure what it's targeting. Could be that town just there, or it could be the location where the air units are covering. But those air units are shooting the rocket with the sound, but it just wasn't enough to take it out. The rocket will take out the town and one other structure over there. And I don't think Snow has actually spotted what's going on over here. Was that a second rocket? Oh, it was. So he fired the second rocket here and he was able to get through. But we have another force of units coming in through this section. They might even be able to target this rocket here. But some tanks are coming in to try and save the day. And these aircraft carriers are going to come in, try and sweep this area of their strikers. And while at the same time, Snow is having to deal with these guys very soon. And I don't actually think he's spotted them yet. And he's out of energy. So these guys won't even be able to respond anytime soon. But we do have a rocket silo out, but he just doesn't have the ability to use it right now. But there we go, we've got the strikers coming in now, and they having the tanks in front of this area is going to be able to defend this long enough, I think. Those strikers are going to destroy these artillery very quickly. There we go, and just one left. And even taking out the SAM, but there's a large group of SAM in the mountains over here. So that will take out quite a few of these strikers. And we got some interceptors hiding in the forest there, which is going to be good because, well, Snow has realised there's a large group of infantry coming in this way. But doesn't have the ability to do too much about it right now. It looks like these tanks coming in. I don't know if he's actually planning to attack Crypto here, or if he's going to go north. Over here we have the infantry coming in to take out Snow, and they are pushing through. And I think that is definitely a good enough start to be a severe hindrance. And these rockets are nearly built again, and it looks like someone's just left the game. Snow just left the game. So now I think it's pretty safe to say we already have a winner. So I'm going to play the rest of this match like this. So we have Crypto fighting in the forest, surviving until the end, becoming the second player literally with just this bit of land here, against SuperCumpters' entire force of infantry. The rocket that's there, I think the other two rockets are a bit out of range, but we have some tanks moving in this section. I think they're just happy to sit there for now. Some of them repairing, capturing some territory. But with the entire fleet, with strikers to move in against him, I think they are going to be a bit slow at this, so I will probably speed up the engagement. My mouse is gone. There we go. Sorry, I had an issue then. A little bit of a bug. So yeah, we've got another 10 minutes in this. So I am just going to speed it up a little bit. And we've got 4 rockets coming in, so I think SuperCumpters wants to end this with some fireworks. So we got the strikers coming in to see what's there, and I think they were fine with what they saw. This is really hard to control when it's on fast speed mode. So we can see them in the forest over there, and we can see these rockets getting constructed, and the strikers are moving in. Some are repairing, because there is quite a lot of SAM in the area there, but it looks like Crypto has realised that he's got an opportunity to take some land, but it might be a little too late, as you can see the tanks and infantry rolling into this section. So he's now realising how surrounded he actually is. And we can see some tanks just rolling across the front of our screen. I'm probably going to just check the time. We've only got 3 minutes left. So I'm going to keep it at ×2 and keep it in this zone now so we can see the infantry, the masses of infantry right now spreading across the land, and they are going to engage over in this section very soon. And I've got to keep an eye on those rockets over there because I can see them. I think they're even built. So, yeah. Now, I think these infantry are fine to take on these infantry over here, but I really think that they don't want to fight these tanks. As you can see, looking at the tanks, these guys are running away from them. Like, nope. I'm not doing that. It's literally like watching the tanks as magnets that are repelling. And he's setting up extra defense, I think, for a moment. But as you can see, we've got 5 rockets almost constructed, 6 rockets almost constructed. This is definitely overkill, SuperCumpters. He's even bringing in units via the airstrip here, so he's got some transport jets transporting normal units across the ocean onto the ground over here, which not a lot of people seem to know you can do. But there we go, we got some rockets coming in. I'm going to just put it back to normal speed for these rockets. Some nice fireworks as the tanks line up to take them out. And there we go. I think that pretty much destroyed him, right? I don't see it. Oh yes, the energy well. I was wondering what he was surviving with. I think SuperCumpters was hoping that would actually end the game because it destroyed all the structures. So now even SuperCumpters is probably a bit confused. But I think Crypto gives in the game. He's just got this energy well left over. There isn't much he can do. But there we go. He's given up. I just thought it would be fun to show that end of the game. I think SuperCumpters just had a bit, went a bit power mad. But yeah, I think everyone does that in some RTS at one point or another. It's quite funny to watch. And as you can see, he wasn't actually the top person with capital, or at least Empire value, for about half of the game. It was Snow that was seeming to be top dog when it came to Empire value. And Crypto did all right. He actually kept up with SuperCumpters for a while until the engagement started to take him out. Anyway, thank you for watching. There are 2 videos on screen right now. Feel free to click on one and I'll see you there.